And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Pocket Rockets is a small little game about, well, building rockets. It's the kind of game I think that if it was in a deck of cards, well, it isn't a deck of cards, but if it was any other theme, maybe I wouldn't be so interested, but building rockets is pretty neat, and I was actually surprised. This is a very clever little card game. I like it a lot, mostly because it plays so quickly, and yet you feel like you have a lot of strategy and a lot of decisions to make. There are 3 different color rocket ships in the game. Each of these colors is also marked by a different width. We have the copper rockets, we have the red rockets, and we have the yellow rockets. Maybe these are silver rockets, I don't know. Anyway, each player takes one of these bases of one of the color rockets and places it in front of them, and then the game begins. On a player's turn, they have 4 actions that they can spend. They can do that thusly. They can move around basically in the direction of the way this card is facing. So it could be facing this way, it doesn't really matter, as long as everyone is moving in the same direction. These cards are set up randomly at the beginning of the game. The only special thing is this card here, the engine card, and the recycling card. Those cards are set in different locations. And so you have 4 decks of cards next to the other 4 factory cards. So, what do these cards basically let you do? Again, you can spend 1 action to move, but you're also going to want to do things. If you're at a spot next to one of these decks of cards, you can spend an action to take that card into your hand. You have a maximum of 3 cards in your hand. If you are on a spot that matches the color of one of the rockets, you may build a piece of that rocket on the table. So when you're building your rockets over here, the first thing, of course, you have to build for each rocket is the base. You can build as many bases as you want, and then after that, you add the middle parts, and you can add as many of those as you want, but the rocket is not finished until you have a top on it. You can make the rocket as tall as you want, but once you cap off the rocket, you're finished. So 3 cards is the smallest a rocket can be. It can be much bigger than that, but I don't think I've ever seen one reasonably go over 5 cards, just because of the amount of work it takes to get these rockets into place. Now, when the player is building these rockets, if they finish one and they land here on this engine spot, they can launch their rocket. They simply take one of these tokens, the one that's worth the most points, red are 4, orange are 3, yellow are 2, and white are 1, and they place it on that rocket to show that that rocket has launched. Each rocket on the top of the rocket has a special ability. For example, this rocket is worth an extra point. This rocket here is also worth an extra point. This rocket here, well, no bonus for you. But hey, at least you got a rocket done. Some rockets give you an extra card in your hand. Some rockets give you, let you move in any direction you want around the board, which really helps out. Other rockets let you have an extra card in your hand. If you land on here, on this card, you can change the direction and move the other way. If you land on this one, you can recycle, take a card from your hand, and take a card off the top of the pile. You'll find yourself doing that quite a bit, because you'll get cards that you don't want. When all these tokens here are gone, the game is over, and everyone counts up their points. You get points for each section of your rocket ship, and any bonus points, and points for any chips that you may have accumulate during the course of the game. The person with the most points is the winner. It's a very, very, very fast game. Usually takes about 15 minutes to play. As I said at the beginning, I really like this game. I don't know if it's the building rockets, I get a kick out of that. If it's the little bit of a push your luck element to the game, because the more sections you have in your rockets, the more points you're going to get. The more middle sections, it's not exponential, but you get points for each middle section you have, so you might as well build as many as you can. However, at the same time, if you never finish the rocket, then it's worth no points at all. And so the game's a bit of a race to hurry up and go as fast as you can. Also getting those chips, these little chips during the course of the game, some of them are worth more points than other ones. Moving around is very simple. You don't sit there and go, what do I do next, what do I do next? You move around, you grab the piece you need, you try and build them. It's a game that kids and teenagers can play, but I feel offers a decent amount of strategy. Sure, there's luck in what cards are up there, but it's fast and it's fun, and the idea of building rockets is one that will appeal to many people. And the game's small. Not for no reason at all is it called Pocket Rockets. Hey, I like it, I can fit it in my pocket, Well, maybe. But anyway, it's still fun to play.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.